Good morning and welcome to another edition of Rainy Days Podcast. I'm your host, JJ Foster, and what a better way to start our May than to be with rainy days, because you know what they say. A rain, what May showers bring May flowers or something
April
along them
showers.
lines. You know, I'm not a philosopher, but hey, I tried. Today, it is my pleasure to be on set with Miss Linda Golden, who used to be the reigning Rainy president and is now an active member and has always been an active member. And I will let Miss Linda introduce herself here shortly. But we know Linda is the CEO and president of Legacy One. Today, we're going to be discussing the journey of downsizing for when you reach a certain age, the pros, the cons, the why. Do people want to downsize when they reach a certain age? I say elderly, but I don't want to use elderly
Yeah.
because that's not what we're talking about. But with that said, I've been doing too much talking.
Mhm.
How's it going this morning, Linda?
Oh, it's going really good. Beautiful morning, sun is shining, even though it's a little chilly,
Yeah,
but it's still a good day.
yeah, you're right. It's a lot better than
Oh,
yesterday.
yeah.
So there you
Yeah.
go. And we're going to focus on it being May and rainy days and bringing hope and joy to any and all and everybody. So this topic, the why of downsizing, I mean, this is something that you actually, when we talked about setting our schedule for rainy, this is something that you brought up. So obviously it's something that you feel strongly about and it's important to you. Elaborate on that. Why? What's the why to you?
Well, I think I brought it up because I've been through the process. The home that I raised my kids in, we lived in for 30 plus years, sold it, moved on. And so going through that process, all the emotions and everything that you go through as you go through all of your 30 years, 40 years plus of stuff, the memories, all of it. And so that I thought this would be a good topic for us to bring to rainy days.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. So what we're gonna do, we'll do something a little different. I'm gonna throw up I'm gonna say keywords
Okay.
and I'll let you elaborate keywords that are associated when we're going through this period. So, if I was to talk about, the different life transitions that it brings when you get to that point, what would you say?
Well, for one, it is probably the biggest life transition that we will have. Um, Getting older, in and of itself has its own issues and has its own idiosyncrasies that goes along with it. But when you're talking about, again, moving from a home where you raise your family and your why, and there could be so many whys. There are a lot of whys. But I think being prepared mentally to be able to do that is going to be key. You have to prepare your mind. You can't just jump in it. It took me probably 7 months to get to the place where I actually put my house on the market. All the preparation to do that,
Hmm.
because as you get older, you can't in 30 days downsize, go through all your memories, go through everything that you've accumulated, and get that done in 30 days. And it also emotionally, you have to prepare for that. You have to prepare to leave from that home to start another um, phase of your life.
Gotcha. And it's funny, you're right, the phase, and we can talk about retirement, we can talk about losing a spouse, but there are also some other things, and I guess it's not even age related, but as far as divorce,
Yeah.
um, other changes with family dynamics, you may have to take care of a family member who is, who is aged, and you might have to make a decision. We need a bigger
Mm-hmm.
house. I got to move into something, and,
Mm-hmm.
and you could be going through the same type of transitions,
Mm-hmm.
that you're talking about. Um, Financial reset. What if I throw that out there?
Well, I think, financial reset for one, most likely in a lot of cases, you're going to have some nice equity in your home. Um, you probably got a good interest rate, but then there's this chunk of money that's sitting there that could be used to help to finance your retirement or finance, if in the case of a divorce, finance moving out of that home into another place or whatever. So financially, there's benefits also. One of the things that I think that I try to counsel people on is take care of your home, maintain your home, keep it in good condition, because that home represents financial freedom. It could represent financial freedom for you. So I had a client, and I think this is what really got me to thinking about this. I worked with an older client several years ago who needed to move from Fort Wayne into her daughter's home, who lived in another state. And just walking through that process with her, because she didn't have other family here. Her husband had passed. Her daughter was in another state. And so I became really the person to help walk through that process with her, helping her to decide what to keep, what to ship to her daughters, finding resources that can help her ship, because she had antiques, that could, she was concerned about having a company that would take care of her belongings and get them shipped and safely. So I think that's kind of when I began to look at or think about the nuances of seniors downsizing. That was quite a process, and we walked through that process together for about 90 days until everything was sold, the house was empty, and she moved on to her daughters. Yeah.
So first off, look, you didn't just paint a picture. You more than just a realtor. That's some mental health services. That's you a counselor. You're an advisor, which I already know because I mean the things that, like, again, that you do in R.A.N.I, and that's one of the things that we do, walk people through that process. But when we talk about finding realtors and people that's going above and beyond, I mean that's something that you should look for, because again, like you said, you got the wherewithal to walk this lady through this process and be there and empathize and understand everything that she's going through. Now, the other thing that jumped out at me, has that formula kind of has changed a little bit in the climate that we're in? And I say that because I think, it used to be, yeah, downsize. I'm gonna sell my house, like you said, pull the money out. I'm gonna go buy a condo, a villaminium or something, and I'm in a better place financially. Are we to a point like right now to where my home, my mortgage payment is going to be less than what I'm gonna pay at this condo or this villaminium? And not only that, I've got my mortgage payment is less, and I've got a 5,000 square foot home. I'm going to sell my home and purchase something that costs more than what I have over here. So is there a shift in the mindset and the mentality when you look at something like that?
I thought about that a little bit this morning. If you're from my generation, you probably remember mortgage rates being 12, 13, 14%.
Yes.
And so everybody freaks out now because we got 6 and 7. But I can remember paying 13% for a mortgage. We got spoiled with the 2 and the 3%. The flip side of that is you also can use some of your proceeds from your home to buy down your points to get a better rate.
Yeah.
So that your mortgage is not a whole lot more than your current mortgage is. When I've talked to seniors about their plans for renting versus buying, in my opinion, I just would never rent, because you need, especially as a senior, if you're on a fixed income or whatever, you need to be able to know what your expenses are going to be from day to day, year to year. And with a rental, that can change anytime. And so that can throw everything into flux. So I think for the purpose of this discussion, we'll stick with you're going to buy.
Okay. Yeah.
And then for those reasons. But I think we all got spoiled with the 2 and 3% interest rate. But again, if you come from from my generation, that was icing on the cake. But I come from a generation where that, paying 12, 13, 14%, that was that was it. That was
Yeah.
what you did.
Now, have you come across? And it's funny you say your generation because you're right. My generation, I know. Hey, I've got a mother. And I know she is thick in her beliefs. Have you come across somebody that's like, okay, I'm hearing what you're saying. I'm gonna sell my house for 350,000. But I'm great. You told me I could buy down my points. I'm going to pay 250 for a condominium, but this condo is only 900 square feet. I'm getting
Mm-hmm.
rid of a 3,400
Mm-hmm.
square foot house, and there's people that can't wrap their mind around that.
Well, I think you have to. How much of that 3,400 square foot are you actually using?
Yeah.
How much of the out of all that space, you probably use your kitchen, your bedroom, and maybe the living room or family room. So you think about all the space that you're heating and cooling that you're not using. So you have to look at the whole total uh, picture of what it is that you want to accomplish. Holding on to space just to be holding on to space to me does not make sense. Uh, that you need to allow yourself to be able to mourn the loss, and we'll talk a little bit about the emotional side of this on the next episode. But there is a real deep emotional side,
Yeah.
to leaving a home where you have raised your children. When I left my home, I left behind my garden that I had been, working every year for 20 years. I left behind all my flower beds, all of my perennials. I had worked hard to put perennials in, all of that. And so where I live now, I have none of that. So there's just so many areas of a home to look at and to think about and process as you think about what's next.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
And again, and listen to you talk is funny because then stuff pops into my head, and I love it because you sounds like you're the voice of reason for these folks. And at the end of the day, that's what it comes down. Hey, this is what we need to do. The other thing associated with home ownership, and we know again, cost of. I'll let you elaborate on the cost. What are carrying costs that are associated with owning at home?
Well, I think we're in an environment now where what we're seeing explode is the cost of insurance and the cost of property taxes.
Yes.
And that can even throw your whole financial situation off. Um, if every year your mortgage payment is going up because of those two factors that you have no control over, but those things throw a monkey wrench into your monthly budget.
Yeah.
And so even when you're thinking about, that even in relationship to your 3,400 square foot home to a 900 square foot condo, even even that will help to reduce your cost of taxes and insurance. So you have to look at all of your costs, and then the cost of utilities. They're going up like crazy. So even downsizing square footage wise are going to change and reduce your monthly expenses.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then the big thing we already know, well, it's funny because a lot of people that say I'm tired of yard work and all the maintenance and upkeep, but then you have other people that, like you said, that have that love being outdoors, that love doing that. I've got some relatives who their dad, um, out on his tractor, loved riding his tractor and
Mm-hmm.
cutting his own grass and out in that heat, had no business being out there, but but tried to get it downsized for years. But he still enjoys doing that. I mean, speak to that aspect.
Well, that is, I still enjoy my gardens. I'm rebuilding, but I'm doing it in a different way. Um, Back at my old house, I had raised garden beds, but now I garden in containers. I do container gardening, which is for me is kind of new, but it allows me to sit in a chair and garden.
Okay.
And I still get to be outside. I still get to garden. I still get to do all of those things. Um, I because my husband passed and he used to maintain mowing the lawn and all of that. You know, I'm blessed to be able to have somebody else to mow for me. But I am starting over with the gardening
Okay.
and reestablishing my garden, but it's just in a different format.
Gotcha. And now you said something about gardening while you sitting in the chair. That leads into my next thing when we talk about, you know, folks of a certain age, health and accessibility. I happen to own a ranch. I had people stop knocking my door. Hey, you think about selling? Because everybody,
Yeah.
hey, they're either planning, they know they're getting older, or they had parents would love to, you know, get a ranch. It's a nice size. It's a nice size ranch. I'm 3,000 square foot ranch, and so speak to that though.
Well, you know, the one story deal is a real thing. Again, that goes back. Let's keep using that 3,400 square foot home. Let's assume it's a two-story. One of the big things right now that builders are looking at, developers are looking at, are building homes where people can age in place. So that 3,400 square foot home today, maybe it's an older, 60, 70-year-old home. Today, that 3,400 square foot home would most likely be built that has its main master bedroom on the first floor, along with the walk-in shower, all of that, so you can age in place. You still got the issue of, okay, I got all the space upstairs that I'm not utilizing, but at least if you just really wanted to stay in your home, there are options even to do that.
Yeah, and that's one of the things too. I mean, we use the example of people having their in-laws or their aging parent in the home. That's one of the first things. Oh, well, I don't have stairs, or can we fix her up a bedroom or fix him up a bedroom on that first floor? So yeah, all that goes into it. Uh, some of you, what are things people can use with their cost savings? So I'm downsizing. Um, what does that mean as far as my social life, my lifestyle? What talk to the benefits of all that.
Well, one, I think, the benefit also of being able to pay down debt that will free you to be able to travel more, to be able to do some of the things that you want to do that are more exciting to you. I'm a person, I do not believe in retirement. I believe that I don't see retirement anywhere in the Bible. So I don't believe in retirement. So I think that as seniors, there are many options that we have. If you My granddad worked in the steel mill. So if he were, alive today and he retired today, well, knowing my granddad, he would not have wanted to just sit around. But maybe he can go and do something else that's not as strenuous as working in the steel mill. Something that may be more pleasing to him. That even taking classes. I know I recently found out in the last, I don't know, several years that seniors can get college tuition free. Go and take a course. Go take some courses. AI is big. Go and find out about AI. Don't. There are many things that are available to us that can keep us active and help to keep us healthy and fit. That we can, and those benefits also come out of downsizing, freeing up money, getting out of debt, having a little nest egg set aside, and being able to travel, being able to do what you want to do when you want to do it.
There you go. And it's funny that you said that. So that's why you get to see great uncles and grandma and grandpa get to make their graduation. They get to travel. Everything that you said. Now you get to see them because they're out and about. They're not tied to making that big mortgage payment. They've got it down to something where, as you said, they got money back. And the other thing I think we haven't really discussed, but in downsizing, what about location? where are you going to put the house that you downsize in? Can you talk to that a little bit?
Well, in real estate, it's location, location, location. And again, it depends on your personality. I'm the type of person, I like the low key um, pace. I like Southeast Fort Wayne because it is low key. I get very ooh, frustrated if I'm out on Illinois Road,
Yeah.
at almost any time of the day. It almost doesn't even matter. But there's certain parts of the city that is so congested and so busy, that I think that as you get older, it becomes more of a nuisance to you and hard to actually feel good about it or be okay with it. And that you want the quiet times. You want to be able to go where you want to go easily, without being stuck in traffic. Those kind of things. Being able just to run into the store and run right back out. All of those kind of things become even more, I think, more important to you as you get older. So, even thinking about location for yourself. Okay, if I'm going to sell my house, where do I want to live? Why do I want to live there? What's going on there that would make me want to live there? Um, Not to be just pushing southeast, but I'm going to push southeast. There's so much good stuff in the works and in the plans for southeast Fort Wayne that I think that anybody should take a good hard look at southeast Fort Wayne. Don't be scared away by the news reports. Take a good look because it is really a good, unique place to live.
Okay. And I was thinking too, I mean, even more along the lines of uh getting homes where you're closer to family members.
Mm-hmm.
There's a a lot of folks will buy something and they move way out. And to your
Mm-hmm.
point, now that you isolated. Y'all
Mm-hmm.
your family is over here on this side of town, you out there, and it's like, okay, what do I do?
Mm-hmm.
You want to get where you can
Mm-hmm.
be a support, a resource to your grandkids, to your
Mm-hmm.
niece and nephews, to your family, whatnot. Unless, hey, you try to get away from them. I mean, I guess
Yeah.
if hey, there is that. But whatever,
Yeah.
whatever floats your boat. But these are things that you have to take into consideration. And it's so funny. That's why I know me and you always been kindred spirits, and I'm with you until my house gets renovated. Over here, I've been out in Huntertown
Mm-hmm.
and driving back and forth in that traffic. And I'm like, and I
Mm-hmm.
don't care what nobody say. Yes, I've been around, and I used to be one of the people that said when you complain about four-way traffic, you haven't been anywhere. But now our traffic has gotten ridiculous
Yeah.
because we are overpopulated and we got
Yeah.
construction going on everywhere. And it
Mm-hmm.
is when you go in certain parts of town, there's no easy way, there's no back roads. You are sitting there, and this
Yeah.
is about as big as a traffic jam as we gonna get in Fort Wayne.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, and I just know that it is places that I can go where I wouldn't be, a lot less inconvenienced
Mm-hmm.
by that. So um, these are all things that we can take into consideration. I think you hit on everything. I mean, as far as cost of utilities going down, uh, taxes, property taxes going up, insurance going up, and what's funny because property taxes and insurance, man, if I had a nickel for everybody that said, "Hey,
Mm-hmm.
Mr. JJ, you said I had a fixed loan.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
My rate is
Yeah.
this, and now why is my payment going up?"
Yep.
And all I can do is chuckle because I already know now. When I first started getting the call, like, "What? No, you're ready.
Yeah.
Let me call up my people." And now but now I chuckle because I already know what it's about. Because I
In
mean,
two
you already touched
areas.
up. It's
Yep.
the one thing
Yeah.
we can't control. No, your rate is the same. Your
Mm-hmm.
principal and interest is exactly the same. What we cannot control are rising insurance costs and rising property tax. So that is the one thing we can't control. And like you said, in downsizing, weigh your options. If you're gonna come out, yeah, you still it's gonna be increased, but it's still gonna be less on this
Mm-hmm.
large home that you have, maybe in this certain part of town.
And I think also when you're thinking about an older home, which we're talking about, these would probably be older homes. Think about the maintenance for upkeep on the
Yeah.
older homes. Probably in need of new roof, new furnace, by now. Even thinking about those things, it costs more to heat and to cool an older home than it does a newer home. So you have to weigh all of that, when you're making your decisions.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, energy efficient is
Mm.
just that. It's not a gimmick. It
It
is
is,
real.
yeah.
It is gonna save you in the long run. And some of our older homes, they may be our favorite homes, but they're gonna cost you. I had an old historic house on the historic registry. Oh, it was beautiful, but to your point, I mean, you losing air everywhere. The
Yeah,
windows is
yeah,
old. It's
yeah,
not energy efficient,
yeah.
and you definitely gonna pay the
Yep.
heavier price. But Linda, it has been a pleasure. And it's funny, I want you to look up there at that time. You talked about, are we not going
Oh,
to go
30
30
minutes.
minutes?
Oh, wow.
Linda was worried that we weren't going to go 30 minutes. And
Mm.
obviously, it's never a set time, but we always just go with the flow. And that's what I kind of told her. And I chuckled in my head. I did let her know. I said, yeah, but I knew it would be 30. It's
Oh,
just a
yeah.
good conversation, topic that you bring a lot of knowledge and expertise on. And, I appreciate you. And I know the people out there appreciate you. You have any parting words or any last comments that you like to say?
Well, I would just say that I would anybody that is looking to downsize and you're struggling with it emotionally or otherwise, feel free to give me a call. I can help walk you through it. And for me, it's not about me being the listing agent or anything. I've just been through it and I know what it means, to downsize. And I think I could, just like my client of that I talked about earlier, we spent several months together talking through her transition and what she needed to do. And, I helped her to find the resources. And that's one of the things think about myself is I am a connector because I do pay
Yes.
attention to resources and I'm always willing to share resources.
Yeah, that's why you made an excellent president at R.A.N.I, because
Mhm.
you exactly right. You was always wheels, always turning, always connecting. How can somebody get in touch with you? You give them.
Well, my email address is linda at legacy1 dot biz, or you can call me at 260-494-0368.
All righty,
Alrighty.
perfect. And you guys heard it. We're talking about downsizing. We understand it is an emotional toll, takes an emotional toll on you. It is a big commitment in your life. And today we just kind of talked about reasons to and the why. Our next episode next month, we're going to hit on the emotional side. And, Lindo touched base on that and talk you through it. And that's one of the things we brought up rainy days. We created rainy days to go out there to touch on folks. You're not alone in this process. You're
Right.
not alone in your thoughts. We are aware there are things that that are going on, and we have experts that are out there that can help you through. Linda
Yep.
being one, and again, she gave you her contact information. You can always go to the R.A.N.I website or the R.A.N.I Facebook and get in contact if you need to reach you through there, or again, reach any of our other experts in the field that can talk you and walk you through this process, answer any questions that you may have, and help in any way. And Linda says something key. We're all connectors. Yeah, we all reach
Mhm.
out. If it's something we can't help you with, we know somebody that can, and we're going to
Yeah.
direct you that way.
I was going to say within our membership of R.A.N.I, we probably have everything anybody would need. Some uh, expertise within that group.
That's exactly
Yeah.
right. And the one thing I've said it once, I said 1,000 times, and I stand on that. Everybody in our group, in our committee, is just as compassionate and as
Yes.
caring
We
as Linda
care.
is. We care about people, and it's about what's doing best for the community, not what's doing best for ourselves or our agencies. It's all about our community. So until next time, I'm your host, JJ Foster. Rainy Days Podcast. We will see you later.